Yeah.
Warm greetings to everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all in this 1 week long unique event, Entrepreneurial Week, planned by Committee of for Members in Entrepreneurship and Public Service. The whole event is themed on Out of the Cubicles into the Fire and organized by Committee Chairman CA Hansraj Chuk sir, Vice Chairman CA Dhiraj Khandelwal sir, and the entire team. Our sincere gratitude to the committee leader for having us over here and giving us the opportunity. The event has seen the hundreds of members attending since Sunday and has provided a great inspiration to ICI members to think out of the box, spread the wings, and take a cue from success stories of the speakers from the 5 countries who have made a mark in their respective fields. It is said that only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far they can go. Our esteemed speakers have done proud to the profession with their vision, and in the process has been service society also by making a significant difference. We are extremely honored today to have a young, a vibrant and visionary Central Council member amongst us, CA Umesh Sarma sir. Sir, thank you very much for sparing your valuable time with us and agreeing to inspire us with your initial address. Uh, Friends, I would request you to give the virtual round of applause to CA Umesh Sarma sir and welcome him. And sir, screen is all yours.
Thank you, Nirlep ji from Qatar. Thanks to Pradeep ji, Pratik ji, speaker, and Kanaya Lal ji Rathi, another speaker. And it's a very enthusiastic moment for me to address the inspiring young chartered accountants or chartered accountants who are entrepreneurs or who want to be in future to go for their own business or startups or in the ventures. And when we look forward towards our country, India, it is said that the next decade is of India. And India is becoming the largest startup country in the world. And in that, fintech companies are taking much more lead, and who knows better than a chartered accountant the financial world, because our education system is such a chartered accountant is trained to do all the things which are required for a successful business running or creation, or we can say for auditing, for consultancy. All types of knowledge are provided by our ICI to our students, to our members, and it carries on. Thanks to the committee which is having a focus on development of entrepreneurship. Yes, we know that in practice there is certain risk. We also know in job there is little risk, but in entrepreneurship there is always a risk. And I salute to all the chartered accountants who venture in entrepreneurship, because डर के आगे जीत है, वो जो बात है वो इन लोगों ने सही करी है. And one more thing, that our profession is working hand to hand with the government for the development of economy, and we ICA are providing the platform to all our members and students to become entrepreneurs in future, or to support the entrepreneurs who are right now. And I am very proud that Pratik Goda ji is there, Kanaya Lalji Rathi are there, who are going to speak on entrepreneurial opportunities for financial professionals, then building entrepreneurial vision. And when such personalities are in front of us who are from our own fraternity, we read books, autobiographies of other speakers, of other persons all around our world. But when we look to our own family members, तो हमारे ही बीच में ऐसे चमकते हीरे हैं जिनको हम अगर देखेंगे तो we will see that yes, I can also become like him, because he is one of us. And this is the platform where all our participants will learn a lot from our learned speaker. And I wish that this series will continue in future also, and lots of programs will be taken up. And we look forward to you all Please give your suggestions for the development of ICI, for development of our economy, and development of our brotherhood between the entrepreneurs, between the CAs in jobs and CAs in practice. Because if all three together, the CA who is an entrepreneur is employing CA in his company, and another CA who is doing consultancy and auditing for that. That will be the greater uh, work which we can do together. With these words, I thanks to all for joining and giving me a chance for the opening remark as well as introduction of the topics, and wish you all a happy learning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your very warm and inspiring note to all of us. And as you rightly said, it's our responsibility as well as duty to honor these, esteemed dignitaries, those who have ventured very high, and those who are from our own family and fraternity. Thank you, sir. Prabdipji, if I may ask, so do we have the honor to have Kotha, sir, or I'll straight away introduce CA Pratik?
Pratik ji, you can introduce.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Friends, now I'll take an opportunity to introduce CA Pratik Ghoda, my good friend, I must say. CA Pratik Ghoda, who is chartered accountant since 16 years and having huge experience and expertise right from the management trainee till CFO and VP role by serving companies like Torrent Pharmaceutical, Cadila Pharmaceutical, Zandu Pharmaceutical, Vedanta Group, and lastly, Baxter Pharmaceutical, US MNC as VP Asia Pacific. He was the youngest financial controller for Cadilla's international business at the age of 25. He's taking academic lectures for a new venture creation course at Ahmedabad University and working as mentor for the Indo-Canada Startup Associations. To pursue his dream, which was taken birth in 2014, of doing something on his own in terms of the venture, he finally managed to quit corporate world in 2019. And after 1 year's extensive research and study, he came up with unique products, which is natural flavor honey under name of Bee-Base Private Limited in August 2020. With a motto to provide healthy life, and the tagline of his organization is "We Think We Care." Some of his awards are Promising Startup of the Year 2021. He was also finalist in NSA 2021, which was broadcast live in the August presence of Honorable Prime Minister Modi and Modi ji and Honorable CA Piyush Goyal ji. He was awarded with Go Global Award at Washington, D.C., finalist in Greenpreneur Award 2022, Emerging Startup of the State by WSRO Gujarat, and recently winner of the Trendsetter of the Year Award by Vyapar Jagat 2022. He's an avid cricket lover, played district level tournament. He loves traveling, reading books, music, and sometimes remain isolated also to think about his vision and the future plan. That's very interesting, CA Pratik Ghoda. Friends, with a great enthusiastic and virtual round of applause, help me welcome CA Pratik Ghoda. CA Pratik, thank you very much, and the screen is all yours.
Thank you. First of all, thanks a lot for considering for this wonderful opportunity. I mean, it's been really a privilege to be part of it. All the respected dignitaries and the masters of the field, and the fraternity, which is known for its hard-earned degree. We have the word chartered itself. So we always used to take a proud when we say that adding the prefix like a CA. And as we know that today, how as a chartered accountant, what kind of a different value addition that we can bring into the business, not only as a part of the corporate, but if we are going as a freelancer, or even if we are trying to come up with any the startup or the entrepreneurship journey. So I would like to start up with few names. Let us see what is common into it. Say, start with the Kumar Mangalam Birla. Then you have Rakesh Unjunwala. You have Radheshyam Agarwal. You have Deepak Parekh. Latestly, you have Aman Gupta. You have Namita Thapar. So what's a couple of common things? I'm sure one everybody would think is the kind of a great entrepreneurs, right? And another common thing which we would love to hear is that they all are the fellow professionals, chartered accountants. So I mean, what's the better combination? We can see that when a chartered accountant is achieving a wonderful heights in their entrepreneurial journey, and that is what probably I'm trying to throw some light that how and why opportunities as an entrepreneur by a chartered accountant is much more or bigger than what we are expecting. And there are n number of fundamental reasons for which we can take a proud that yes, probably this fraternity is more suitable. Yeah, that we can say this fraternity is more suitable to work, as a front runner rather than working on a, as a backbone of an company. So that is why and how. Because ultimately, two important things in any startup, any company, any end. One is the idea, which is a backbone started, and another is a handling the finance aspect of it. Because you discuss idea a lot, you try to maneuver around the products, services, or whatever unique things that you are coming up with your corporate. But when ultimately the conversion of those ideas into the numbers and presenting it everywhere, that is what the really great part of it, and that is where the numbers guys are required. So when you are really able to convert those ideas in a perfect visible numbers, predictable numbers, that is making a sense about a good corporate or a kind of a startup journey to making towards a good corporate. And there is a survey which says that almost 80% of the startups failed because of the financial discipline or a mismanagement. So don't you think that such a wonderful thing which works as a major backbone of any entrepreneur, any enterprise that is going to be started on a small scale, then why we people can't be a front runner into it? So that is very important aspect where people like us, chartered accountant, not only why we are calling a chartered accountant, not only accountant, because certain element of a financial aspect only we people can judge, we people can forecast and make sure that what we can see as a vision which should be a beyond television. So it's not a normal vision which we are looking at it, but we are able to forecast, we are able to predict probably a 360-degree on a business scenario. So as a chartered accountant, we have that added advantage, wherein if we understood the business well, then numbers are always under our control and we are the master of it. So that is I would say it's always a lethal combination. If you understand the business well and numbers in your hand, then probably you can make sure that slow and steadily, but you can start enterprise and probably it's very much easy to convert into a kind of a global company. And just tell me one thing, one very important aspect, that there are a lot of limitations with respect to particular profession to a particular industry. Like there are a lot of branches in the medicines, doctors, they stick to their own line. Maybe there is orthopedic, gastroenterologist, ENT, etc., etc. The IT professionals, engineers, they have their different streams: mechanical, electronic, computer, etc. I mean, just tell me, for us, technically, does it make any sense which kind of industry we are into? Suppose someone is doing a job, it's a service industry, manufacturing industry. So probably the most common thing for us is that we are flexible enough, to make sure that whatever industry it is, we are the one who are able to control it very easy, because ultimately the backbones are the numbers and we are very good at it, reading it irrespective of the fact of the industry. So if someone is putting chartered accountant in the pharmaceutical industry, maybe in an engineering industry, kind of outsourcing service industry, we can gel ourselves very well. And that's the reason that probably we have that fundamental advantage of not getting stuck to a particular industry, because whatever business logic or the industry comes with us, we are easily able to understand time by time. So that's where we don't have any particular specific choice that okay, this industry only then we can control, or this is the industry where we can control. So probably the range is very wide. Whatever kind of a new thoughts or new industry that you can think about it, you can go, you understand. The only thing which we need to, as a chartered accountant, probably need to work upon more, I would say, is that apart from hardcore numbers and the mentality of someone is in freelancing or in a corporate job, that looking it from the only kind of a uh, objective of a road blocker, because many a times in industry, finance department is being understood as a road blocker, or kind of creating a problems and the queries and everything, etc. And that is how we have been used to see by the fellow support department, or maybe a client sometime. Freelancing, we used to say that if you are not doing this, probably there is a penalty, there is an interest. So there is a slight change of mindset that I emphasize, is that how we develop our thought process as a business support services and business enablers, even if you are in a corporate, so that you can be a very much as an essential part of a decision making. It's a just change in a thought process, that okay, numbers you have in your hand, what we need to do is just to go on the flow, to understand the process and the businesses, be it supply chain, be it production cycles, be it sales and marketing, how they are happening. The moment you are through with the basic of it, probably you need not to be a master of it every time, but once you are through with the basic things like that, and you are able to link your numbers very objectively to each processes, and that's what makes you to understand business more deeply, to analyze it more efficiently, and you can definitely throw some light on the aspect. When I've seen in my journey in corporate, that probably once we understand the business, we are able to contribute a change of a packing in the product, how drastically it will reduce the cost to a certain percentage month on month. So that's where probably everybody start looking at you as a solution provider. Okay, they are not a typical number guy or road broker, but whenever someone needs you as a solution provider, you have that extra mile, because you are the custodian of numbers as well as you understand the business. So that's always goes hand to hand. And believe me, that kind of value addition, I have seen people, including myself, approving the production planning. And now you will wonder that what kind of a role that as a financial professional you have in terms of production planning. But you are the one, remember, you have an inventory control, you have the pricing, you have the costing, you have the market data, country-wise sales data, where the things are moving, what's going to be a production plan, and accordingly you can bridge the gap. So that is where your value addition will be required every now and then. So if we are coming up with any new idea, enterprise thing, then probably chances of getting failed at initial stage is very bleak, I would say. And from my own example, I can say that maybe it's a slow and steady start, but it would be a very firm start. So you have that additional advantage being a chartered accountant, and you can control it right from the day one, because the basic nitty gritty, that how the conservative thinking is there, because we are the people who always go with the prudence concept, right? Very basic conservatism. So no rosy pictures that we have ever able to produce. It's always a conservatism that comes in our mind as a basic fundamental principle. So when you are starting your journey, suppose with the startup on your own, you draw a business plan, 99.9% you're always going a conservative mindset. Okay, if something happened like that, what is a plan A, plan B? So that thought process will make sure, or it's a right seeding for a you're starting up your entrepreneurship journey. So suppose I have started when I have started to be based, that's something which people think that as a chartered accountant and going to a apiculture, what kind of a different domain itself. That's what I said. Its domain has to be niche and different, but your fundamental area and the principle and the expertise remains the same. So you always start with your due diligence in a normal manner about the business, about the market, about the things, putting up the numbers on the papers, making sure that how the 3 to 5 years position look like, what kind of a thing that will come in a way, or what will be the advantages, disadvantages. So many things that you as a chartered accountant able to put on a piece of paper much better manner than the normal one. Because remember that whosoever is a technical CEO or a guy who has startup, they always going back to their financial expert to make sure that whatever dream that or the idea that they've seen and trying to convert into a mega enterprises needs to be validated in terms of numbers, because we are the guys who knows the how the valuation goes, how the basic prediction works, what kind of a fundamentals of principle of finance that we need to follow, understanding the bank borrowings, the private equities, merger and acquisition. So that in current scenario, I would say is much more as an added advantage, and probably we can really capitalize on the same, because whatever initially I've spoken out the names, those are the people who have those kind of background with them, and then they have capitalized in their journey from a small enterprise or a startup to bring it to the another level of large and mega level enterprises. So why we can't do it? And that's a probably change that the era is looking at. That if such kind of experts are going to control the business, start any idea, then chances of getting into the success zone is much more, and failure is very remote possibility. So that is a really thought process that helps us to make sure that we convert any idea into a startup, and from startup to an enterprise. So that mindset of becoming a business enabler, even if someone is wanted to do a job, that's fine. But the mindset which one should carry is about the business support and the business enabler. Nobody should think that financial guys are there for only audit checking, and the queries and the road blocking mindset. So that is where we can really change the entire way of looking the people and the professional to us. So very fundamental principle. Another thing very critical is that when even not as a founder, but I've seen now many technical people who are coming with the enterprise opportunity, they are looking such kind of financial professional to have as a co-founder as well, because that's always been a when there is a comes a chapter of as a co-founder management, I always used to speak. And if someone is from a technical background, I would suggest that he or she should go with the co-founder who should be in a finance or a sales and marketing, etc. Someone who is a financial or a sales and marketing kind of a founder must go to a technical guy as a co-founder. I mean, that's a very little thing initially. It could be a friends and the relatives, but one has to make sure that it's a setup that you are trying to make sure that initially, if it has been really good, chances of flourishing your enterprises and startup is much more. So that is a very critical thing where we as a chartered accountant people are making sure that they comes and as a making as a part of their initial journey, that they should be part of the think tank. They should be part of their entire startup journey as a founders and the co-founder team. So very niche area that's been opening up, and we should be capitalizing on that. Because remember, if, as I think sir has rightly said, a chartered accountant has started a business, chartered accountant has working as a part of that company, and another fellow colleague is getting into the audit and other assignment. I mean, what could be a wonderful combination? Because majority of the problems which is there in the financials, because people, in order to give the priority to the business, we have seen a many number of times. I mean, whenever we are in suppose corporate, we know that in order to make sure that the business goes through, there are a lot of shortcuts, a lot of areas that has been taken care of, and we are the people who will come to know about it at the last. So we have to do a lot of repairing through the proper channels, and how it should reflected in terms books of account and blah blah. So if someone who is at that mindset, who knows that what kind of importance the data is carrying, because I used to tell a very common thing that to all the business owners, that whatever efforts that you are putting up in your startup, or whatever efforts that your employees are putting in your startup to make sure as a big organization, everything ultimately will be reflected in terms of numbers. Your efforts, your day and night, whatever you do, that's all reflected ultimately in terms of numbers to the third party, to the outside world. It will be measured also in that particular line. So you have to make sure that how efficiently it can be presented. And that's the reason, if people like us who are the born and brought up with those kind of philosophy and the numbers, so chances of having a financial mismanagement is very much lesser, or the importance of that financial discipline, due diligence, will be equally in the mind of a promoter, because he himself is going to be a chartered accountant. So that is very much easy job in the coming days, that probably you can find a more compliant startup or organized startup coming into the picture. And that really create a win-win situation, so that you can have a very much disciplined line items in terms of financial background. And when you are really growing a day by day, the growth is sustainable, because your base is firm. You need not to spare more time in digging out the past and making sure that how the numbers are look like, how the numbers are now needs to be changed, because you can't do certain changes beyond a certain level. So that is a fundamental and very much kind of a niche advantage when the chartered accountant is going to control an enterprise. So I would say that this is a really really nice kind of a opportunity that is coming up nowadays, and that is what has inspired me as well. I've worked for a lot of corporates, right from trainee to a senior management level. I've seen the investor driven company a lot, where there is an entry and exit of an investor, what kind of value addition that should be brought into. So we are the people who are known for a value addition, you know, and that is what a need for the startup as well. So if from the day one, people like us are there with the idea and with the numbers, then probably that is the strongest combination. So we need to really make sure that how the particular line item matches with the idea, and it automatically talks about the number in the business both. So the value addition for which we at the fraternity is known for is really required in every way. So even if say I am having say an X routine number in my startup, routine product in my startup, but how efficiently I'm utilizing that concept, which is not much available, or people are not aware about it, and what other surrounding value addition I can bring into. That is where the think tank of a chartered accountant is required. That will help us, because we'll be able to judge the repercussion, be it positive or negative. We're able to forecast it not only from a business repercussion, but we'll be able to see that if the action A is required to be taken, what kind of other repercussion, be it in terms of number, be it in terms of finance, the banking arrangements, what sort of all other factors that's going to be there. So for us, that there is always in that extra mile, which will help us, that will able to forecast that very much easy. So that is the reason that probably we should come as a front runner rather than a backbone. That let us drive it from our side itself, and that is where probably we can be much more expressive. We have that now. There's a lot of initiative by the institute itself, where the communication and the presentation skills, with sometime very much in an older area, it's been never seen as a cup of a chartered accountants. But I have seen from my own practices, other people, that how efficiently institute is working. We are working a lot on the communication and the presentation skills. It's the art of selling. That is what will play a crucial role when you have a number knowledge as well as you have a domain knowledge. Probably that's a wonderful thing. So the ability of forecast, another area is that ability of forecast, that what we can do as a chartered accountant. Business planning, that's very much day-to-day operations. We know that how you can have a daily cash flow things, format things. So you always know that where your startup is standing. I always have that routine cash flow sheet on my desk, that okay, what we are at, what we wanted to go at level, what kind of things that will be required. So you have immediate kind of a bridge that you are able to generate in your mindset, and that is where probably you are a day ahead compared to others, because that where you are standing and what probably is required to go to from place A to place B. So that forecasting ability that the CA fraternity is working day in day out, and what we have. So what we can see is beyond the day. That is where it is very critical, because nowadays you can see whatever startups or the enterprises that are coming to success, probably The reason that they are doing something different, that what they have seen is that the predictability or the futuristic aspect of the services of the value. If I'm talking about my V-base, then what I know that what kind of a healthcare segment is requiring from this kind of product. It's not a normal typical product, but what value addition that you can bring into and make it a futuristic product so that your value addition will be completely different. So opportunity for people like us is huge. We just need to think through of an idea, that how what kind of idea. And as I've said, we are the fortunate people that who doesn't have that kind of a boundary, that we need to stick to a particular industry. If say I can choose apiculture, which is still always, whomsoever I meet always ask me, when there is a chartered accountancy and when is apiculture, how it came to your mind? I said it came to mind because I am a chartered accountant, to be very honest. Because I am a chartered accountant, I can visualize that what an enterprise building process is, how the niche startup can take a shape, and what kind of a value addition that you can make and make it a big. That's what I've seen, I've learned, I've solved. So it's not about that A to B, that we are completely different, you are opposite, but we are complementary rather. We know that whatever things that we choose, how to make it a value added or how to make it a big, that probably the CF fraternity or the chartered accountant can do much more better. And that's why it is a most prestigious and hard and tag that we are fortunate to carry. So opportunities are endless. Not only whatever kind of a niche segments you need to find out, even if there is a, I would say, me too scenario. I'm not taking that every time you have to be innovative. I have seen that Mr. Varghese Kurian, so the Amul guy, used to tell that there are two problems in India basically: those who do don't know, and those who knows don't do. So it's very simple. I mean, you have to make sure that whatever you picked up, even if it's a Me Too segment, you're doing a slightly value addition, Me Too venture sort of thing, but your value addition will be a percentage more than that the normal entrepreneur. Because the reason, what we did discuss just now, those kind of elements that you are carrying, it's been harder. And I always believe, if you know about that, it carries a BST theory. We have been already through the BST theory. All chartered accountants are already passed out from that theory. That's nothing but blood, sweat, and tears. So we've already been through once. So for us, it's very easy to go through. And who better than a chartered accountant knows that how to handle the even failures. So even if your startup or the enterprise doesn't take that takeoff that you are looking for, but you know that how to handle that failure, how to convert that failure into a motivation, how to convert those anger into the motivation, and pave the way for another success. So we are really also used to that aspect as well, because it can't be always rosy picture. It can't be always good. You have to turn through. It's been 3 years for me, but I know that what kind of a BST theory I have been through startup before getting into this, all the recognition. So that's where also we are experienced. We have handled it well in the past. Maybe there are fortunate people who haven't seen those kind of element, but maybe we have seen it. Many of us have seen it. At least couple of failures, single failures. So we know how to handle. And what keeps us going was the persuasion for that, craving for that, tag, because we know that how valuable it is. Similar with that, if that tags and that experience come into the business, you just imagine that what kind of structural changes or the basic things which should be done in a right manner. And I always used to say, you keep your basics right. So being a chartered accountant coming into entrepreneurship, I would say that's the first basic that comes very much right. And as that combination, we could make sure that how to make it a successful venture. So a lot of opportunities nowadays. You can be it pharma industry, be it IT industries, be it even agri-tech, ed-tech, lot of buzz around it. And it's just a matter of identifying those things. You have to just think through. I have served 14, 15 years, and then I feel that probably I have realized very late when I've seen that I am working as good as entrepreneur mindset. And then I realized one fine evening that, okay, I'm applying the same principles in the company. I'm working with the same mindset. So that one fine evening made me realize that if the same principle have been applied, same things or the vigor that can be applied in your own enterprise, probably you're working for the profits and the increments. That is where the that things come, and it's been start of a V-based private limited in the 2020. And fortunately, I mean, when I've decided, it was just August 19, and 3-4 months later there was a COVID lockdown. So scenario was completely different, because the kind of background that I carry, probably nobody is used to do come in a business, and I was probably first one to break the ice. But this fundamental of chartered accountancy and the practice helps us a lot, rather me a lot, to make sure that we find the ways. We are the always find the solution. We are the people who works for the solution, not for the problem. People come to us every time with the problem that we proud that we can take. Be it your audit assignments, freelancing jobs, you are a controller, or whenever you are, people come to us in the hope that there will be a solution of the area. So now let us not limit this take to the financial solutions only. Let us have it as a part, but as an enterprising for entire company or a corporate or as a startup, we can have answer to any of the situation or the questions. We can make sure that how we can turn those kind of painful points into meaningful solutions. So I definitely would like to urge more of a people. Definitely there are a segment of people who have a different choice, but if given a chance, people would like to pursue, and there is no harm even if someone take experience in the corporate, spend some time in coming back. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that probably nothing goes in vain. So those experiences also helping you a lot to run a corporate, because you've been through to the practice that what kind of things that will be required, what kind of basic things will be required to that have that setup. So there is always a win-win situation, because you've seen the other side of the table. Now you're on the other side of the table with the kind of good experience and things that you are carrying in terms of your knowledge. So it is always great to find those kind of opportunities. We have to keep our mindset open. Let us not restrict ourselves, the chartered accountants, to the finance and accounts and to kind of a routine processes that we have. Let us make it an integral part of it and have a kind of a broader view that we are the controllers. Once we understood the business, we are the business controllers, because finance is with you. You have to just need to make sure that you understand the business and you develop the business. So probably you have a better mindset than any other, because you immediately understand the financial risk and the reward involved in whatever kind of a decision as an entrepreneur you are taking. So you are the on the quick note, you are able to judge that, okay, this is going to be in a right direction, or I am going to face something else. So these are the certain experiences that probably I would like to share from my own example, that how this kind of area and the opportunities for us as a chartered accountant is coming like anything, and probably we have to grab them with both the hands. And the days are not far where people as chartered accountant will be known as a more successful entrepreneurs than the routine one, because we have that extra spark. There are still numbers are there. We belong to a class and not the mass. That's what we can say. So let us have that class to make sure that how we can spread into a much more detailed and the logical manner till the business goes. So that mindset of becoming a business enabler will make sure that we can control the entire corporate too. It's not that we are there to just control a department. Being into the department also, I've seen the corporates are being controlled by the financial controllers in the decision making committee. And that's the reason if someone is really applying himself or herself to the business very well. So let us adapt that, and we are the best people to know about that segment. I mean, I'm very much kind of a passionate about talking about how the chartered accountants can control the things in a much more better manner. So the sky is the limit, and there's a wide amount of chances where in and out every startup or entrepreneurs are requiring, because and it's always pleasure to hear whenever suppose I am meeting to any fellow entrepreneurs, colleagues, incubations, acceleration center, and everybody goes, "Oh, you are a chartered accountant, sir. It's very much easy for you. You have the things in your place." So people are recognizing that having that kind of a backbone with you yourself, they themselves understand that it's a must-win situation for you. You can understand in a better manner. Who else? So that shows that people are start recognizing that being a chartered accountant, you are coming in entrepreneurship is going to add an extra fee, that it's going to add extra value. So I always say that the chances of being successful, and my when I decided my whenever I did the articleship, my boss used to say 4 5 years back that, Pratik, I'm telling you one thing. I'm not sure that as a practitioner how far you will go, but if you are choose to become an entrepreneur, entrepreneur, your chances of getting failed is very bleak. So that's what I heard from him, and that gives me a motivation as well. And that's how that Bbase is all started, and I'm into it. I'm really fortunate that I work as a mentor for a lot of startup as well, and making sure that whatever that I can share as an experience from my side, I can do. What value addition we can do in others' life, whatever mistake we did at some point of time, we can make sure that others should not be doing it. So this is what my thoughts, dignitaries, on about that financials, professionals opportunity in the entrepreneurship, and I would say that's going to be the future for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pratik. We still have 10-15 minutes to go, and I would make a request to our members or any guests, if they have any questions, they can share, and then I can ask you. Is there anything you would like our members to answer you? If there's anything before they type in their questions, and the responses which will come out, I'll share that with you. Anything you would like to ask?
So I would be definitely like to ask that, uh, how many, when they are performing their jobs or the roles in the corporate, or be it in a freelancer as a, in their practices, how many are, working from that mindset of as a, business support services, rather than, just stick to the rules and regulation and making sure that, these are the penalties, these are the interests, these are the problems. So that is what is very much I always used to understand, that
Right.
how this kind of mindset, how many percentage basically is working with this respect of the mindset, which is very important.
Right. So everyone has heard the question which has been asked by our esteemed speaker. And if there are any comments, we'd request you all to please share, and I'll then share with you. That's a very important point, Pratik, you have raised, because if we are not able to support business, then definitely the things become very tough. I remember one example of an event management company, wherein they have to take care of their clients very well. That was a business where overriding of control was happening very frequently, for the reason being that the MD was always on its toes, as our theme is out of cubicle into the fire. And the person who is a MD, who is the founder, who is the owner, then, he had to make very quick decisions to see that there is no bigger damage to the business if there is anything which gets delayed, because ultimately it's all about customer experience. As we go into a restaurant, we don't like any dish, Many times the hosts who are serving to us are empowered to immediately change the dish. And I think in our restaurant business, that makes a big impact. And if we are worried about how much loss we will happen because this dish, because of this dish, then in the long run that affects the business very badly. When we talk about hospitality, we have one comment from Shiripad, who is based in Bikaner. Uh, uh, and he says that Shiripal, he says that we are doing it. We want to do this in extensively hardworking manner. That's what Shiripal says. You would like to comment on this statement, Pratik?
So I think hard work is, which we all been through, since our study days, this fraternity. So that is always an integral part. But the time which is there, the need of hour is the simple smart work, apart from the hard work. So hard work is always been integral part, no doubt. But how effectively, smartly you can do it. Your goal says to be smart, like similar manner. So that is what the need of the hour, that how quickly and efficiently you are connecting the dots, you're making sure that those any kind of a thing, any kind of a problem that is being solved by a smart work, and that also for a longer run. Quick fix are really not appreciated or not allowed. I mean, that's probably at some point of time it's always going to take a big damage. So I rather would say that apart from hard work, your the pulse of wisdom that probably you can give it in terms of solution, that should be such that it comes through a smart mechanism, as well as much more effective manner for a longer run, not for the short. So long run and a smart, so that probably you can utilizing the time from very efficiently. That is what the need of the hour, because every second counts. The per pay, per second pay, per minute pay, per hour pay, all those kind of scenarios. So when you are able to maneuver, I quickly remember when I was in a outsourcing industry where there is a costing is per hour, and there are a lot of other processes. And I have focused on a workforce management, which is working on a time zone, how effectively that time frame can be reduced immediately. That converted into a billions of dollars, because that's a game around time and an hour. So how quickly you are making sure that that problem with the hard work in a smart manner solved for a longer run. So it is a quick fix as well as for a longer run, which will make sure that there is an effective contribution to the business. I think that is what probably I would like to share from my side.
Yeah, great. Oh, thank you so much, Pratik. Pratik, some of our members have asked that is there any way they can connect or contact you if they need any guidance, if you would have time, or any way they can connect with your organization or with you for
Absolutely.
any?
Absolutely. I mean, definitely my details being a member are there, but I'm contactable on my email ID, which is bbase20@gmail.com. And I'm available on my cell, which is 9924111868. And it was always happy to help fraternity. So I'm completely available 24/7. Rather, it's a pleasure of mine to make sure that even if there is a single person can be affected by meeting or sharing the experiences, probably that's really worth it.
Right. Pratik, are there any three books you would like to recommend for entrepreneurship, if for young entrepreneurs to read? Any?
So I would rather not on a typical entrepreneurship, because I believe it is an instinct. It is the
Right.
attitude that one needs to carry. So rather, the do epic shit is definitely one that I loved a lot. And the another one is that Who Says Elephant Can't Dance. I think it's all about IBM turnaround of the corporate.
Right.
And corporate Chanakya, definitely, because you need to read how the strategies. So I'm an avid lover of Chanakya, because in
Right.
whatever domain he has a fundamental strategies, right long term plan A, plan B. So I would suggest that maneuvering around those things, and your attitude based reading, I think that instinct or that fire you need to have in your belly constant 24/7, probably that
Right.
will make sure that you will really follow the right path for sure.
Right. Recently, when I was coming from Delhi, I picked this Do Epic Shit book. I haven't read yet, but some of the books which I have read, which are connected with startups and businesses, and which I've liked, is 0 to 1. And other book is Rework. It has been a one-pager book, and it has been a very beautiful book. It's very easy to read, and I really like that. We have a couple of more comments, and we also have time, and we will quickly take that. Shiripal, thank you for your response. And though he's from Bikaner, he made a comment that the scope sometimes he feels is less, and he said that how we can get into larger areas. That was his additional comment. And then we have Dhananjay from Ahmedabad. He says that in entrepreneurship, first time we should go for breakdown point or some loss. This is what Dhananjay has commented. And would how you can comment on this, Pradeep?
So I would say the way I have thought about my startup, I have said I will start it in a profitable manner itself. See, whatever things it will take, people do say I have a FMCG product. The other people say that the flood, the burn the cash, make the brand, and then you capitalize on it. But rather, I prefer that let us go slow and steady. Make sure without keeping a buzz, let's create a solid platform and a brand with a profitable number. Let us start a small but a profitable number, because in the longer run that will have a much more better impact whenever you're going for a seed round, pre-seed round, or making any investor to come back to your startup or the enterprise. So need not necessary that you should have a kind of a loss making or a kind of a big, but you have to focus rather that how I can start on a profitable manner. We being the people who are always a master of the numbers and the loss and profit, our aim should be that how we can start with the profitable itself, not even a break even point. So my fundamental thinking when I have started it, that right from the first balance sheet, even if it is for 4 months, I would be ended up by having a profit in my company itself. So how asset light model or how heavy capitalized model, what kind of, those are our thought process where we can think about it. I have some
Right.
of the unique ideas where I can generate a revenue. So maybe I can utilize a sale and lease back model very efficient.
Right.
So whether being into the heavy, capital incentive or marketing incentive stuff, you have an idea, and you are the only judge as a chartered accountant that how profitable you can from the day one.
Yeah, very thoughtful, Pratik. Similar to this, and the challenges which startup founders face. Lekhraj makes a very important comment. He says that we have to play a dual role. He says that we have to be a value protector when we talk about compliance, and other we have to be a business growth enabler. And sometimes we hear stories which pains, like one of the story. Many times it happens. It has happened in the past all over the world. It has happened today in India, which has broken out. So these kind of stories are really sometimes very painful. But we have to be true to ourselves and honest and ethical, and that's most important. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us, Pratik, today. Your session has been a big inspiration for all of us, and I'm sure this will make a big difference to everyone. Is there any final message you would like to give?
Keep having faith in yourself and believe in yourself that you can do much more than what you are meant for. That's a really thing that I would like to convey, that don't restrict or limit yourself. I've seen most of the investors are saying that this is not my domain, I'm not going to come. You can say I'm a chartered accountant, I can't go into this line of business. So that's a final message, that never ever restrict yourself into a domain. Go and explore everything. Even if you are in a job, don't stick to accounts, go to tax, go to treasury, explore everything. Don't restrict. That's a fundamental thing that I would like to take as a
Thank
message.
you. Thank you so much, Pratik. And we were honored to have you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you. So we had another wonderful session in this program organized by Committee for Members in Entrepreneurship and Public Service under the leadership of Chairman C. Ansrachuk and Vice Chairman C. Dheeraj Khandelwal and the entire secretariat and our team of the committee. So thank you to all for being here with us every day and helping us make this program a great success. Big thank you to our Central Council member, CEO Umesh Sharma ji, who was here today, this evening for inaugural remarks. And now we have another speaker, our esteemed speaker from Dubai, CA Kanaya Rathi, and I'll briefly introduce Kanaya. Kanaya is a chartered accountant, company secretary, and a CFA charter holder. Upon clearing his CA exams, Kanaya achieved the distinct honor of 28th rank. Kanaya career has gone a full circle in his as a finance professional, having started as an auditor with EY to investment banker with Deutsche Bank, Credit Agricole and UBS AG, to an investor with Amanat Holding PJSC. In investment banking, he was vice president, investment and corporate banking with Credit Agricole, and executive director, head of corporate advisory group for UBS AG. He was then appointed as the founding CFO of Amanat Holding PGSC, an 82.5 billion healthcare and education investment holding company based in the UAE, where he led various investments for the firm, including the acquisition of a significant minority stake in Talim PGSC. Amanat recently exited its investment in Talim at a 21% IRR. Kanaya started his entrepreneurial journey by founding a Cap along with his colleagues from UBS AG and Credit Agricole CIB, focusing on merger and acquisitions and debt advisory services, which has since expanded to its own proprietary investment portfolio for Cap. Since its inception, Cap has successfully concluded 7 M&A transactions and debt advisory transactions. In building its proprietary investments portfolio, Cap currently owns minority stake in Talim PJSC, the only listed K-12 provider in the UAE. And also in Vedanta Resources and Young HWA Rack Steel FZE. Thank you so much, Kanaya, for being here with us today. Your very vast experience as an entrepreneur yourself and seeing thousands of businesses, large businesses, I'm sure, but you will be sharing with our audience on building that vision will be making a huge difference to our members. So I would request all our members to sit back, relax, and please give a big virtual round of applause for Kanaya. And Kanaya, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pradeep ji, Bhaveja ji, for such a, such a kind introduction. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the ICAI, as well as the chairman, CA Hansraj ji Chuk, and vice chairman Dheeraj ji Khandelwal, and the entire Central Council members, including CA Umesh ji Sharma, who were present, and CA Kotha Srinivas ji, for giving me this opportunity and inviting me to share my experience with the fellow chartered accountants on entrepreneurship journey. It is quite heartening to speak to our own fellow members, guide them on my journey, and also to guide them on how to build their vision for entrepreneurship. it's a bit of a daunting task to engage with an audience when you're talking to a screen and you can't see them personally one on one. However, with the limitation, I would like to make this session more interesting for people who are out there listening to this webcast. For the ease of reference, we have prepared a presentation which I'm going to share, where we're going to get through, our own journey, as well as what are the, aspect which makes, and what is the mindset one need to have to create and start their entrepreneurship journey. At the same time, also share our own experience in the last 5 years since we started our company. So with that, I would like to share a small presentation, and just please confirm to me if you guys can see the screen. Is the screen visible, Bhaveja ji?
Yes.
Yes, sir, it's
Can
visible.
I
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
just a second? I
So-
think I had some. Yeah, it's fine.
Sure. So first of all, would just give you a glimpse of how my journey started from being an employee. Started as an auditor with EY in Oman, Muscat office, and from being auditor, I realized that I have to move my career into investment banking, and then the natural migration was to become a financial controller of an investment bank, which was Deutsche Bank in DIFC Dubai. And then during that time, I did my CFA from US and became the vice. I joined as associate for corporate and investment banking business of Crédit Agricole, which is one of the largest bank from France. And within 2 years, promoted to vice president. It's where Crédit Agricole, I got the opportunity to advise some of the very large clients on some landmark transactions, which included Orascom Lafarge merger, where we advised Lafarge on the acquisition of Orascom's building material assets in the Middle East and Africa. That was a $12 billion transaction, as well as also listing of Zain in Saudi Arabia and raising around $2 billion for them from a capital market through an IPO. And in addition to that, several other M&A and the capital market transaction which we led. In 2011, with my entire team, I was headhunted by UBS and joined them as head of corporate advisory group, executive director. I was the youngest executive director for UBS in the MENA region. Again, been fortunate of working on some of the very large transactions in the region while I was working at UBS, including founding Amanat Holding. Amanat Holding was a first listed private equity firm out of the UAE. We raised 2.5 billion dirham for Amanat. And it was, what we know right now as SPAC. We did it in 2015 when even the SPAC name was not acronym. And it was, people used to say it was a business plan listing where we raised the money and then started investing in healthcare and education sector. And then in 2018, with my colleagues from UBS and Crédit Agricole, I founded Aspire Cap. So the point I wanted to make here is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, my experience and understanding has been that you should be mostly on the client facing role. That would help you to understand the requirement of the clients or the customer, also improves you as an entrepreneur. And all the jobs which I took was more to enhance my skills rather than for the money. So whenever I felt that this particular job would enhance my skill set and improve my knowledge, we moved on. I advise the same for the young chartered accountants who probably starting their journey, to sort of look at their job as a learning, because once you become a CA, many people think that the learning ended, but your job should provide you more experience. Then, obviously money is part of it, but that should not be the main criteria. Secondly, while you are working, and I think when we move more into this presentation, I'll highlight, don't work for money, and don't let your growth leads to increase in your expenses and the living standard. Rather, work to gain experience, and at the same time, while you are working as an employee, you should try to build asset rather than building liabilities, which is the case which I see in some of the young, chartered accountants. The moment they get a job, they want to have the nicest cars and the biggest house and get into the debt trap. And that makes it very difficult for you to become financially independent going forward. So we will elaborate that a bit more when we move forward. Um, so what's the Aspire is now 5-year old. Our story is started as an advisory firm, M&A advisory firm, and then when the 2020 came, we were unprepared. I think everyone was unprepared when COVID came, and we faced once in a lifetime crisis within the third year of our operation, as we well set to grow our businesses. We adjusted ourselves, adapted ourselves, and used the capital which we had into some rightful investments, which have in last 2.5 years, thank God, has done fantastic for us and has led to 100x growth for our company. So it's 100x growth of a financial services firm, which started with the capital base of X, is today 100x in the bank account. We're not talking about the valuation yet. So we're going to elaborate that also, that how, there was something in plan, but then we hit with the crisis, and how we use the crisis to our advantage and use that to build our firm even more stronger. Now, in the next slide, I have made a small correction to the topic, which was out of cubicle into the fire. I don't think entrepreneurship is that bad. I would say it is out of the cubicle into freedom. It gives you a lot of freedom. It gives you a fresh air to breathe. Having spent 20 years into the corporate, I have realized that, if you really want to harness all the skill, talent, and the experience which you have gathered, entrepreneurship is the way forward. When you are working for a corporate, your mindset, your job descriptions is very limited, which in way, it comes a time where you feel, that you want to do more, but the corporate stops you from doing that. So this is, there are various advantages of being an entrepreneur. Do many people think it is risky? But I think if you plan and you have the right mindset, it is the most rewarding journey, and you can create a legacy which can outlive you. We all, as a human being, have a finite lifetime, and there will come a time when we will all leave from this planet. But if we can build something which we can leave behind for the generation, the entrepreneurship is the only way we can do it. Now, there are certain aspects of being an entrepreneur or a successful entrepreneur. I won't go into the hard work and being disciplined. This is like a hygiene. You need to be a hard worker. You need to be very disciplined. But at the same time, what it takes for someone to become an entrepreneur and how to have that entrepreneur's mindset. First of all, for us as a chartered accountant, and which I have realized from being an auditor to being an investment banker and an investor, is to change the mindset altogether. Because as an auditor, you are always backward looking. You look at what people have done in the last 12 years, and your job description is to find areas where they could have done better. Whereas, as an entrepreneur and as an investment banker, you are always forward looking. You look at, the 5 years to 10 year forward, and you see what possibilities are there, and you try to capture on those. So we also, as a chartered accountants, yes, a great hard work with which we become a chartered accountant, but at the same time there are certain things which we learn as a chartered accountant which we need to unlearn to become an entrepreneur. Most important of that, I will try to give an example of understanding the difference between an asset and liability. So many of us who work for money, and then we forget what is an asset and what is a liability. We buy a car and we think this is an asset, whereas an asset is a car is not an asset, because it is, you buy it on a loan. Even if you don't buy it on a loan, every month it costs you money. So an asset, a simple definition of asset from an investor and entrepreneur perspective, is an asset is something which puts money into your pocket, whereas a liability is something which takes money out of your pocket. So if you have a home loan, you bought a big house for yourself and you've got a big mortgage and you're paying the mortgage, it is not an asset for you. It is an asset for the bank which have given you the mortgage, but it is a liability for you. Likewise, your car loan, your vacation loan, your credit card loan, these are liabilities. So one thing which I don't trying to stress on the point that be very miser, but you have to be very frugal to build your asset base. Be wise with how, when you are starting your career, how you are building your asset base, which your asset base should become so strong that that gives you sufficient income to take care of your luxury kind of expenses. And that's the only way out from this rat race and the financial freedom. Um, with respect to coming back to taking the calculator, so this is one thing, if you can, out of this whole presentation, if you can take with you, is that you should focus on building the asset and not liabilities. And having this concept clear, that asset is something which puts money in your pocket and liability is what takes money out of your pocket. And if that is clear for you and you continue to build asset, sooner you will reach the financial freedom and in your way into the entrepreneurship. The other thing which entrepreneurship is all about is taking calculated risk. Now, it is different than taking foolish risk. And I will give you an example of Rishabh Pant driving after drink is reckless risk taking. At the same time, you have the Formula One drivers who takes risk, but they are prepared for it. They prepare for it. They drive much faster than probably where Rishabh Pant was driving at, but they get the platform and they train themselves, and then they get into those such high speed. So similarly, the risk taking, if you do a calculated risk taking, then it makes you smarter, it makes you knowledgeable, it makes you successful. Now, one other myth which I would like to and maybe many people will not be happy with, that is that we've been trained to take jobs, study, get the good grades, and take the safe and secure jobs and live the life very peacefully. And whatever the savings we make through SIP or through mutual funds, give it to someone to invest in that. We are chartered accountant. I think this is the most damaging thing we can do to ourselves. Don't give your money in the SIP and mutual fund, because there's nothing mutual about mutual funds, right? They take their percentage of the fees, whether the market goes up and down. But apart, rather than criticizing that industry, you being a chartered accountant, you've been trained to read the balance sheet, you've been trained in such a manner to the business. You're not doing a justice to yourself by giving your hard-earned money to someone else. Rather, you should use that money for better investment for yourself while you are still working. And then if you don't work, then you use it for your run of the business, right? Now, I would like to, share one shairi here, which is I quite like on the risk taking, is that manzil unhe hi milti hai jinke sapnon mein jaan hoti hai, उड़ान पंखों से नहीं, sorry, पंखों से नहीं, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है. So you need to have the courage of taking calculated risk with yourself as well as your money, rather than passing out onto someone else, and you're trying to take a job which is more cushy and more of a safe, then it is enhancing your skill set. one way or other, you need to learn to sell. And that's the reason I recommended earlier that you need to get into the role where it is more client facing. So if you're working in the auditing side, then rather than taking internal auditor role, my recommendation would be to take a role with an audit firm or a big four, where you are client facing. You have to sell the services, you have to deliver it to the client, and you have to also manage that client relationship. That is very important, and it will come very handy when you become an entrepreneur, because that's where you will be tested for your interpersonal skills as well as the management skills. Mistakes and failures are part of life, and what we've been taught as that mistakes is stupid, but it is not. These are the opportunity which should inspire us to become smarter. We should accept uncertainty, we should accept new challenges, and life is full of that uncertainty. And when I go further down in the presentation, you'll see how we encountered once in the lifetime crisis for our own firm, and how we adapted ourselves to take advantage of that. Having said that, you have to be always humble. Whatever we are today, it is God's grace, and our we are all hard worker, and other people are also, but we are fortunate to have this qualification, and also having this ability to start our own journey itself is a great blessing to us. At the same time, be nimble in our approach. You can start your firm or your organization or an enterprise with the particular business plan, but at the same time, you should be very prepared to make the changes. Last but not the least, have faith in the Almighty, be spiritual, and believe in the law of karma. That if you are a good person, good human being, sooner or later, the success in whatever you are doing will come to you. So I would like to also recite one doha from Ramcharitmanas, which I quite like, is that kaun kahu na kahu dukh sukh kar data, niz krit karma bhog sab bhrata. So whatever we are going to get in this life, I'm not suggesting that we should not do anything. Karmanya vadhikarasya, we have to do our karma, but whatever the sukh dukh or whatever the benefit we get in our life are because of our own karma, be it past, present. So be a good human being. That will also make you a successful entrepreneur. Now, the journey is quite rewarding, and it is an opportunity for you to, I would say, for a professional like us, this is nirvana. This is when you become an entrepreneur, that's where you can test all your skills and you can put your skills to good use. I did go through this, the differentiation between the assets and liabilities. Again, want to re-emphasize, an asset is something which puts money into your pocket, and a liability is something which takes money out of your pocket. What you've been told are not necessarily the assets. The nice house where you live and you pay a lot of mortgages on that is not an asset, it's a liability. The car loan you take is a liability. You spend a lot of money on your credit card is obviously a liability. Buying washing machines or other consumer things or smartphones which you don't need on EMIs are liabilities. So be frugal. Also have delayed gratification in life that would allow you to build the asset base. So the most important thing is, in your balance sheet, please try and make sure that you have more assets than liabilities. Being chartered accountants, I couldn't have put the entrepreneurship and how to reach to the financial freedom in a better manner than this way. And I think it is much more simpler for you to understand. Now I will, this presentation is prepared, but rather than, going through what is there in the presentation, I will discuss with you the challenges which we faced when we started the firm, how we overcame. That would also help you when you build your business, and maybe it would be a good learning for the people who are listening here. So when we started the journey, there was, few things changed. When you are no longer carrying the UBS card, there are many clients which you thought will support you are not going to be able to support you, because even they want you, but they are so large that they have restriction from their board or the stakeholders to go with the large banks. And so you have to restart your journey, and you may be given the projects which probably others have failed. So the first year, the two projects which we did, the sale of freshly frozen and the sale of Woodstock. So freshly frozen was given to the one of the most reputed regional bank, and who have worked on this for 1 year and failed to deliver on the project. And before that, couple of consultants, and this has been given to us as a challenge by one of the client. So we took this challenge, and within 6 months, we helped the client to sell this business at the most optimal price possible. The complexity in this transaction was not in the value of the business, but the owner has taken so many loans, and for that he has placed the shares and the assets of these businesses to getting NOC, and negotiation with that those banks was the most critical aspect of it. The similar way, the Woodstock was given to one of the big four in the region, and they've been working on this transaction for last 3 years. And when we were given, it was when the big four said, look, this is a deal which we cannot do. And again, within 6 months of time, we closed the transaction. So yes, we are very proud that we achieved that. But the lesson here is that when you start new, you have to be open to accept projects maybe where others have failed, or the projects which are, in a manner considered to be undoable. So you have to take the calculated risk, put your best effort towards that to achieve that success. These three transactions here made our balance sheet, and we've been profitable from year one. And if we wouldn't have dared to take the challenge of accepting these assignment, probably our year would have been different. Again, in 2019, we've been given the other two very challenging transaction which we closed, were one where there were a client of us who had 50% joint venture with the European counterpart. And the European counterpart, though he was 50% shareholder, but he had the full management control of the business. Our client with 50% was a passive investor, and they had a deadlock and the 50% shareholder, the European counterpart, was in charge of the business. That person offered a price to our client. Obviously, I cannot disclose. That was extremely low, and we got involved in this transaction, and we took the role of shareholder activism, where we managed to get 3 times the value to our client. Similarly, ArcelorMittal is a large firm who was 60% partner with 2 of our clients. So our 2 clients were very minority partners, 13% and 27%. They wanted an exit. 2019 was not a great year for the steel side, and Arcelor was not very keen to give them an exit. And again, here, against the advice of many, that look, you are taking a role up against such a large conglomerate and the largest steel maker. We took that role. We took the proxy from both the shareholders. We got onto the board of these companies. We played an active shareholders role. And finally, we got a very good exit for our clients. So, in life, when you start entrepreneurship journey, you are given certain challenges, and there are your plan, what you thought that they're going to be your clients or business partners, or that this is going to be the response for your products and services. You may face the reality, which is completely different. But once you have taken that step and have started that journey, you have to accept the challenge and move forward. Again, is the 2018 and 19 have set our firm solidly on the ground. People have started recognizing us, and we built a strong pipeline for the M&A and the debt advisory side of the business. We encountered, and then with the little bit of capital which we had, we started thinking about expanding the business, and we encountered with COVID, 2020 or 2019, where our entire business blew up in front of us, all the advisory mandates. And we had in 2020 some very, very, very large transactions which could have taken us somewhere else, but we saw them disappear overnight because all the business plan which we prepared for the clients were no more feasible, because the whole country was gone into lockdown, the whole world is going into the lockdown, and many people who were earlier interested in buying have just all pushed the brake and said, look, we don't want to do anything till we have the clarity on the 2020 situation. So March, April of 2020, we had our advisory business, which gone to zero, but we had the little bit of capital and the wisdom to see this as an opportunity. So we deployed the entire capital into the good investments. So we bought 3 good investments that has done extremely well for us in the next 2.5 years, and has took our firm in terms of capital from where we were in 2019 to 5 times. So that has been a great experience and the journey for us, and something which came unplanned, and we were completely unprepared, but we adjusted, adapted ourselves, and we said, when the nature gives you or the life gives you lemon, you should make the lemonade and never let any opportunity go west. And when we saw this opportunity, we bought stake in Talim, where we were advisor on a sales side. That mandate failed, but then there was a shareholder we bought from them. Recently, we did IPO for Talim at a price which was 3 times of our initial investment valuation. Vedanta, we have done 2 trades. We bought Vedanta's bonds when they were trading 30 cents to a dollar. We exited at 70 cents to a dollar within 9 months, and we doubled our capital. And then we bought into Vedanta's equities, which were listed in the US, and we made 4 times our money there. Yanghua is a largest billion-dollar company out of Korea. They wanted to sell their plant here in the UAE in 2020. It is one of the largest steel fabrication plant. Obviously, no one was buying that time, and they wanted to get rid of this plant. We bought this plant from them at around 8 cents to a dollar. And now we are in the process of selling it at a price which is 4 times the value where we bought it. So the lesson and the learning for us has been that, not necessarily if you have prepared your business plan to do only advisory, when the opportunity is there to make money by investing, and you see the opportunity and the risk is very low, you should go all out and make the best out of it. Our last 2.5 years IRR has been 74.5%, which is, I think, the best, and we are very proud of what we have done. This is in terms of the financial performance of the company after having encountered all the challenges which have come along the way, and have to sort of change the course of the business. We've been profitable from year one, completely bootstrapped. We haven't raised single capital from the market. So in terms of, without divulging the confidential numbers, but in terms of parameter, I can tell you that where we started the company, we are now 100x in terms of capital. Our profitability in 2018, where we were, today we are 3x in terms of the profit. However, our profit now comes much more from the investing activities than from the advisory activities. And this change was unplanned. We wanted to become investor maybe 5 years hence, but the first 5 years we planned to remain advisors. But because of COVID, and thank God that COVID happened, that that business has we had to enter into that business much faster, and we are very happy about that. Now, we have the ambition to make it a full service firm, where we have Aspire Capital Advisory, AMC, which is an asset management business, where we are offering our special opportunity fund to our investors and making it into an AMC, and also starting our wealth business very soon. Now, special opportunity is basically investing into the distress asset and corporate event, and making sure that your risk is very low, and delivering those returns for the clients. So this is a $100 million fund which we are launching, and there's a good appetite and there's a good response which we have received. What is in terms of our takeaway over the last 4 years, what we have done. Now, the one thing which I would like to emphasize is that you have to be very adaptable and nimble in your approach when you start, and very humble in your approach. You start your business with a particular business plan and with particular vision, but if macro factors which are beyond your control, you encounter them, you have to be very quick to adjust. That's what is the entrepreneurship is all about. Every year you will face challenges, and every quarter you will face challenges, and it is your problem solving and adaptable and flexible approach that will keep you survive in these crises. um, Secondly, I would say that always be on lookout of opportunities, because what we always say is when one door closes, the other door opens, or other window opens, and you have to look out for that next opportunity and don't hesitate to make the most of that. Because the entrepreneurship is all about grabbing the opportunity, capitalizing on them, and that's how your firm is going to progress. And now what we did with Talim is that special where we were advisor to them to sell majority stake in the business. When that transaction fell through, we had one particular shareholder who wanted to sell the minority stake, and we've been very quick to take advantage of that and buy that block from them. Also, most important is to have the support of a good partner. So my partner has been my colleague in Credit Agricole and UBS. So it is not only the destination and it is not only the journey, but it is the company which is very important. So what kind of people you get associated with when you start your journey is very important. They should be like-minded, they should be very supportive, and they should be very understanding of your approach. I think if I had any other partner, probably we would have not have been able to deploy the entire capital in 2020. But my partner, who's been my colleague for last 14, 15 years, he understood what I saw, the opportunities, and we had the full blessing of him as well as our advisory board to go ahead and deploy the whole capital into the market. We that time, if you looked at any top consultants in the market, including McKinsey or BCG, the theme that time in 2020 was to conserve, reduce cost, and wind down on the businesses. As people were saying, this is going to be the worst of the time we are going to face, and we went up against them. We didn't reduce our staff size, we didn't reduce anyone's salaries. We have for some time deferred the salary of the people with the promise that you guys will pay, we paid the full salary the moment we exit our investments. So that was something different which we did, and it has paid well. And I think this was all because of the kind of advisory board and the partner which I have has supported me fully. So this is sort of our learning. Does the firm stops here? No, we have a lot of plans to grow the firm beyond Dubai and beyond what we are doing here, and that should be the theme for an entrepreneur. So every day we reminded that that सितारों के आगे जहां और भी है अभी इसके इंतहा और भी है. Entrepreneurship may you do give your exams every day, and so that's we are not in any manner think that what we've been tested in 2020 is not going to happen. We may be tested again, and we also remind ourselves that tu sahin hai parwaz kaam hai tera, is jahan ke aage asma aur bhi hai. So we have to continue our journey, continue to diversify our revenue base, and that's what we are right now in the phase. What we wanted to do in 2020, that expansion, we put a break and started the investing journey. We're coming back with that. So this is the plan, and I think I wanted to share this story with you guys for everyone to. I'm one like you, as chartered accountant, came from very humble background, from a village in Rajasthan, and have grown in this country. So I'm very blessed and feel very grateful to the Almighty to give this opportunity to me. And I feel that if I can do it, any one of you can do this as well. What we do in terms of giving back to the community is we have created a small fund, which we call it Aspire Super 5. And I think this is very interesting for the people who are out there on this call, that here we support the aspiring minds who wants to become entrepreneurs. We provide them with the tools to build successful business. So we provide them with the office space. We provide them with the all the support, mentoring, seed funding, as well as strategic partners access, as well as access to the new clients and the markets. So this is our way of giving back to the community, and we would like more people to reach out to us who wants to become an entrepreneur and who has a plan. We would be more than happy to help them build their businesses. Um, this is our track record, which I think the journey has been shared, and this is in summary our report card of the 5 years, so to say. And with this, I would like to thank each and every one of you who have taken time to listen to me. I think you guys have it in you. You want to do better than what you are already doing, and that's the reason you are there on this call and spending some of your important time with us. I hope that our knowledge sharing has been helpful for you guys. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and here as well. If you have any question, please feel free to write the question, and I'll do my best to answer most of the questions which you would ask me. I will leave you guys with my on this slide my contact details, so you can take a screenshot or photo of this. And if you want to reach me out, that number is my WhatsApp number. You can ping me. At the same time, my email ID is there where you can reach me. With this, I would like to again thank ICAI as well as all the people who are there on this webcast for their time and to hear our story. And I hope that this last 50 minutes have been useful for you. And if in any manner my presentation or the discussion can inspire some of you to become an entrepreneur, I would think that I have done my job. With that, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kanaya. Just a moment. Thank you for your very inspiring session. Just a moment, Kanaya. Let me see the questions which have come through. So, is there anything, Kanaya, you would like to further share on your part, which you think you might have missed in?
So, I think what I would like to further aid to what I have already shared is that one thing which I would like to advise is to start early, whatever you want to do in life, whether you want to become an entrepreneur, or whether you want to become an investor. People will tell you that you are still very young and the time is on your side. So one of the important, very precious and very perishable commodity what we have with us is time. Time is the greatest asset if you utilize it correctly, but it can become your biggest enemy if you don't use it properly. So use your time while you are there, even maybe you're working for someone else or you are on your own. Use your time very wisely, because this is the only asset which you will not get again. It is not replenishable assets, so to say. And this other thing which I would like to mention, that don't let your failure and challenges define you. Take them as an inspiration, adapt and become more smarter. That's what I would like to aid in that these are the two softer aspect. The third, being all the chartered accountant here, I would like to say, and even the people who are not chartered accountant, that in your life's journey to become financially independent, as well as have the building the businesses, the two areas where you have to really keep a very close eye is on your assets and the cash flows. Your cash flow in your business is like your flow of your blood. So if you don't have cash flow in the business, you will encounter problems sooner or later. Some of the large institutions and the banks have gone bankrupt, not because they were not profitable, but they couldn't manage their cash flows well. And focus on building assets and avoid building liabilities. This is extremely important for the especially the young generation, that understand the difference. I always tell that you can have that the Rolex which you wear, or you can have the Lamborghini or Ferrari or maybe any other luxury car. Those only make you look rich. They don't make you rich. So before you want to show it to the people that you are rich, first become rich. So if you wanted to buy those, I'm not suggesting that live miserably or with miser, but I'm suggesting that first build the asset base and let those assets have those revenue coming to you for you to buy those luxuries of life.
Right. Thank you. I would like to extend welcome to our Central Council members here, Rohit Rawatkaji, who is here with us right now. Thank you so much, Rohit, for joining. And we have a couple of questions before we hand over to you for formal vote of thanks, which I'll just take it. Kanaya, we have a question where Dhananjay from Ahmedabad, he is asking that which platform is more efficient for learning finance in business? If you can throw light on it.
Yeah. Now for, what I have done is I've done my CA and CFA, and those both the qualifications have really made me the person I am. So these are the two professional qualification I will highly recommend to the people who wants to expertise into the finance field. However, I think I may recommend some books which you asked our previous speaker could be very interesting for the people who are out here on this call, may help them in their entrepreneurship journey. There is a book written by Rasmi Bansal on Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish. These are good stories of people who built landmark organizations, and how all of them have faced difficulties and have faced challenges, and how all of them have started with the plan and it didn't work. So failing and having a plan which doesn't work is normal for any entrepreneur. So if you read more about entrepreneurs and their stories, it probably will give you much more confidence in when you start your journey and you encounter challenges.
Thank you so much, Kanhaiya, for guiding Dhananjay. I think we have a very interesting comment in Hindi. Our member Arvind, he's from Jaipur. He says, "IPO kab tak aayega?" So please throw some light as he requests you.
Yeah. I think for us, the IPO, we haven't even started thinking about it, to be very honest. But before the IPO, what I right now, and again, the plans may change anytime, but right now, I think we believe that we haven't even scratched the surface of the potential of our business. So there's a lot to be done. There are 2 new businesses where we are at a very initial stage to set them up. So, the journey of IPO is, I think, still, many years forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I do not have any other question right now. What I would like to ask Kanaya is that, it's very important that synergies from different countries come between different businesses, so that we can take our business places where there can be an integration of business happens for a market in different countries. Like we see that many businessmen have a business both in UAE and India, and they are able to integrate very well, like in Middle East market. Then similarly in Africa. So, any thoughts on how young entrepreneurs how they can integrate their business in such a way that there is a market for their business all across the world? Any
Yeah.
quick thoughts?
The M&As which we do, the cross-border M&As are mainly for the businesses which are similar in nature but are in different geographies. So, for example, I've been fortunate to be part of Orascom Lafarge merger, where Orascom is a French cement manufacturer. They are very global, where Orascom sold their Middle Eastern building material assets in exchange for shares in Lafarge and got the global exposure to the building material businesses. Similarly, I worked on another transaction which is more closer to home, where we advised the Khurafi families to sell their Zain Africa business to Bharti Airtel. Where Bharti out of India, Mr. Sunil Mittal bought the entire of the Zain's African business at around $12 billion transactions, where they expanded. So this is normal for the larger businesses. For the smaller businesses, do aspirations should always be there that, you can be global. But my request would be that first you should grow within your home market, and you should stay very close to your core competence. First you have to become successful there, because that will give you the confidence, the capital, the credential, and the recognition for you to be recognized in the international market.
Yeah, thank you. We have a beautiful comment from one of our member, Vijay, who is from Pune. He says that thanks for your valuable suggestion for building assets instead of liabilities. So thank you. Any last thoughts, Kanaya, before I hand over to our Central Council member, C. Rohitji, for the vote of thanks?
Yeah, no, I think it has been, quite, interesting for me to be part of this entrepreneurial week initiative by the ICAI. I again want to thank the chairman, vice chairman, as well as all the committee members, central committee members, for this initiative, and having the members share their journey with the young entrepreneurs. I wish someone did it when I was young. Probably it would have made me entrepreneur much faster than when I became. But having said that, very glad that the institute is taking this initiative for the benefit of the members. So all kudos and thanks to the institute for this good work.
Thank you. So we have with us CA Rohit Rovatiaji, our Central Council member, and so thank you so much for being here. And the screen is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep ji. First of all, very good evening to all the participants across the world who are here. And I would like to thank our speaker, Kanaya Rathi ji and Pratik Goda ji, who has taken the first session, and Kanaya ji, who has taken the second session, and Pradeep ji, of course, you, and all the members who have attended, who are attended the session. And in this entrepreneurial week, out of the cubicle into the fire, so organized by the Committee on Entrepreneur and Public Service. So here, just to conclude in 2 minutes, that it is important to know the direction in which we want to go, because we sometimes feel and we always try to copy our colleague who is doing what. So we have some kind of perception in our mind that my colleague or my friend is doing different activity and he is gaining a lot of success in his area. But friends, it is not actually the same. Every member has different destiny, and every member have different aspiration, and every member have different goal. So it is a script, it is a story. Like every producer or every director who write a story of a film, so it start till end. There are villains, there are actors, there are heroine, there are hero, there are many characters, but the script is written, and on that script, every every actor plays the role, and then the movie is good. In the same way, we are qualified chartered accountant. Everybody is a qualified chartered accountant, and it is a qualification. It is a world class qualification which enhances your skills, which enhances your ability to do a lot many works. You can have a lot many opportunities, but every chartered accountant has a different story. You cannot compare that a chartered accountant can be a managing director, a chartered accountant can be an employee, can be an employer, can be a owner of a CA firm, can be employee in a corporate, can be employee in a CA firm, can be a business owner, can have a startup, can be a politician, can be an IAS officer, can be an IRS, can be an IPS. So a lot of streams are there. We need to understand what is our strength. We need to focus what actually we can do, because there are many aspects. We need to know that whether we are first generation chartered accountant or whether we are second generation chartered accountant or third generation chartered accountant. Generation in totality also, generation in the CA practice, generation in the business, generation in the employment. That thing is also to be taken care to plan properly our journey. That 10 years down the line, how do I look myself? तो ऑलवेज प्लान 10 साल बाद में आपको किस जगह पे पहुंचना है. फ्रेंड्स मैं बताऊं, आई एम क्वालिफाइड इन 2011 और जिस दिन सीए बना था उस दिन ये सोचा था कि 10 साल बाद में मुझे काउंसिल मेंबर बनना है, और फॉर्चुनेटली आप सब लोगों की मदद से 10 साल बाद में मैं काउंसिल मेंबर बना. तो डेस्टिनी जहां पे आपको फोकस करके लेके जाती है वहां आप जाते हैं. इंपॉर्टेंट ये है, आपको लगता है कि मैं बिजनेस में मेरा माइंड अच्छा चलता है, आप गो फॉर बिजनेस. आपको लगता है नहीं मैं तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट में जाऊंगा, मेरे को जॉब सिक्योरिटी चाहिए, आप एम्प्लॉयमेंट में जाइए. आपके दिमाग में कोई आइडिया आता है, ग्रुप ऑफ पर्सन मिलकर कोई प्रोडक्ट निकाल सकते हैं, आप डेफिनेटली वो करिए. बट येस, द एजुकेशन, द ट्रेनिंग विच वी हैव गेन्ड विल सर्टेनली इज एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम किसी और एजुकेशन से मच अबव है. तो हम लोग हमारे माइंड को किस तरीके से अप्लाई कर सकते हैं सोसाइटी में, प्रोफेशन के अंदर, बिजनेस में, किसी व्यक्ति को सपोर्ट करने में, किसी न्यू वेंचर में, किसी स्टार्टअप में, इट ऑल टुगेदर डिपेंड अपॉन अस. सो जस्ट सिट 1 hour silently and understand what you actually want to do in future. Write it down that 10 years down the line you want to reach to that position, whatever position you are. Then reverse the situation and start planning accordingly, that yes, whether you want to open a shop, whether you want to open a showroom, whether you want to do some kind of innovative work, whether you want to do a job, whether you want to be into the employment, whether you want to study more, whether you want to go abroad. So all together you need to look for what all resources you are having, because the resources are limited. So मैं कुछ भी आपको बोलूं, बट प्रैक्टिकली आपको चेक करना है कि भी मेरे पास रिसोर्सेज कितना है उस चीज के लिए, बैकअप कितना है उस चीज के लिए, टाइमिंग कितना है, मेरा फैमिली सपोर्ट सिस्टम कितना है. So you need to understand all the analysis, that is the SWOT analysis you need to do, then decide. But yes, we the professional, we the chartered accountant can do wonders in any field, provided we just need to sit and plan. To conclude, just one thing to say to every participant, every present member over here, that in a class if there are 60 students, the school is same, the teachers are same, the class is same, the books are same, but still one person will score first rank and one person may fail. But it doesn't matter what is the situation. You need to understand what is your strength. You might be good at education, you might be good at academics, you might be good at computers, you might be good at sports, you might be good at singing, you might be good at some other skill. So you need to understand which skill you are good at. So it hardly matters what number you score, what level you are, but you just, whenever you come to know that what skill you have, just work on that skill. I am confident that skill along with your qualification, the chartered accountancy qualification will give a synergy of 1 to 1. It will make you 11 and you will go ahead and you will succeed in your life. With this, I just conclude my words. I am thankful to organizer. I am thankful to the institute for giving this opportunity. Thankful to the committee, all the members present over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rohit. So thank you to all the members who have been present here. And today we complete the day 4 and tomorrow we have the day 5. We request you all to be here sharp tomorrow at 6 p.m. IST, and stay safe. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you, Kanaya.